Welcome to Fun. The Y and W are still silent. The show where we make fun of our mistakes. Today I went plane spotting. Actually, I went plane spotting the first time ever. But I messed up. I messed up pretty bad. Like, I messed up so bad I can't use a single picture. I mean, take a look at those. However, me completely up taking still images reminded me of something I always up when I first started doing video. And I'm talking about exposure. More precise, about overexposing footage. I think most of you know it. So in today's episode we're gonna take a look at how to recover overexposed footage. Greenie at the desk, you should be ready, it's your take.
Hi, I'm supposed to do what?
As I just said, show the people how to recover overexposed footage.
That's not possible, you can't—
What do you mean with it's not possible? You are the editor, you are supposed to fix stuff like this. So go ahead and show the people what they clicked for. It's your job.
Alright.
Can't be that hard. I'm out of here.
Okay,
Do your job.
overexposed footage. Okay guys, overexposed footage. It's one of those things you can't really fix in post. Unless you recorded the footage in some kind of a raw format like red code, which allows you to adjust the exposure later. For example, take this beautifully overexposed footage I took earlier today, and I totally meant to overexpose it, I promise. And as we can see, there is no too little detail in the sky. And even if we try to lower down the exposure, it's not really doing much. We can increase the contrast and getting back a bit more, maybe push the highlights, but this footage is just not usable in this form. So instead of showing you how to recover something you cannot recover, I'm gonna show you how to not overexpose at the first place. Things to do to not f up your exposure. Tip number 1. There is actually something most cameras have, no matter if it's a camcorder, a DSLR camera, a webcam, or even whatever this thing is. And that's a so-called histogram. What it actually does, it shows a graphical representation of the values on your sensor. And if it should max out on the left or right, you should check your exposure. Either it's too dark or too bright. Tip number 2. Use the zebra effect. Just like the histogram, most cameras support a zebra. What the zebra does, it shows you an overlay of the actual image and highlights certain exposure levels. In this example, we set the zebra to 80%. That means as soon as the area starts to hit 80% or higher, it starts to overlay the zebra effect. So for me, it tells me, alright, at this point we are at 80, and this should be pretty safe to use. Tip number 3. Use a flat profile. So what is a flat profile? Well, about this topic we could do an entire video. What it actually does, it's a different method of processing the image. And what it does, it allows to have a bigger dynamic range inside your image. But it always requires you to grade it afterwards, because the image looks just flat, as you can see in this example. But there is a bigger, broader dynamic range. Tip number 4, ND filters. Let's imagine it like sunglasses for your camera. It's blocking out light so less light is going in. Which brings me to tip number 5. Use an external monitor like I do. I'm using the Small HD Focus, an external monitor which allows me to display some additional graphs showing me how exposed my footage is. Like in this example, just by looking at this waveform, I can tell how exposed my image is by looking at the height of the waveform. So if it hits the top, I know it's totally overexposed, and it hits the bottom, I know it's too dark. So I try to get my image somewhere in between. What's also pretty cool about this specific monitor is it allows me to show some additional information like the zebra or focus peaking, or even load my own LUTs, which means I can record on a flat profile and yet see the full colorized image on my screen. It's pretty cool and I really do love it. But be aware, an external monitor with this feature set is pretty expensive. I hope this is what you wanted.
5 tips on how to not overexpose. that's not really how to recover overexposed footage, but alright, I give you a pass on this one. Hey guys, if you liked whatever this guy did, hit like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram, because there are the few pictures from the plane spotting trip which are actually usable. So, see you in the next one. Bye!